stay here in the water for some time because having created enmity with a powerful enemy, I now have no place to go. That sounds like Hiranyaksha. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The demon should have known that God cannot be driven out of any place, for he is all pervading. Demons think that their possessions as their that of their possessions as their property, but actually everything belongs to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who can take anything at any time he likes. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Yeah, so the demons, eventually, they're always defeated by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. At first, it looks like they have the, let's say, all power and they can do whatever they like, but ultimately, they're going to be defeated by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, therefore, devotees shouldn't be worried because of the temporary so-called uh, so-called um, the the success of the demons. Just like you'll hear Elon Musk is the richest man in the world, or so and so is the most powerful, let's say, politician, or so and so has the most powerful army. Everybody is going to be defeated by birth, old age, disease, and death. So we shouldn't be worried. And Krishna is promising, Konteya Pratijani Nami Bhakta Pranashiti. Declare it boldly, Arjuna, that my devotee will never be perished. So we have to have faith in this declaration by Krishna that his devotee will never perish. And even though uh, it looks like the devotees are in dire difficulties and so forth, but in some mysterious and wonderful way, Krishna is always going to protect his devotees, so we shouldn't worry. But we should be very careful about following the regulative principles and following them in the proper way. Like, for example, when you chant Hare Krishna, it should not, well, I mean, you can chant Hare Krishna any way you want, but the most opportune way of chanting Hare Krishna is loud enough so you can hear it, and if someone is not too far away from you, can hear it also. So you should chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. That way you are benefited, and someone near you is also benefited. If we chant silently, you can chant silently, but it's not as effective as chanting loud enough that you can hear and loud enough that someone near you can hear. That's the recommended way of chanting. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. If you chant silently, there's a good chance you could fall asleep. And you're not really benefiting anyone near you. But if you chant, in a very, let's say, uh, you know, or well, and chant loud enough that you can hear and someone near you can hear. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, so Canto 3, Chapter 18, text number 11 says, certainly we have stolen the charge of the inhabitants of Rasatala and have lost all shame. Although bitten by your powerful mace, I shall stay here in the water for some time, because having created enmity with a powerful enemy, I now have no place to go. So the demon, Hiranyaksha, should have known that God cannot be driven out of any place to for he is all powerful. Demons think of their possessions as their property, but actually everything belongs to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who can take anything at any time he likes. So this is a very short but very profound purport, because if we learn two things from this purport, one is that Krishna is infallible, he cannot be defeated in any way, and if you're a devotee of Krishna, he's definitely going to protect you. And number two, everything belongs to Krishna. Everything is his property, including our own body and minds, and all assets that we have. We become so puffed up, we think, oh, this is mine, that is mine, this is mine. Little kids learn this, uh, even if they're not taught this. They say, no, this is mine, and they get in fights with other kids. I remember the first I went to kindergarten, I wasn't able to speak English at that time. I could only speak the Armenian language. And I had a little bucket and a shovel. So I took the bucket and shovel with me, and some kid took it away from me. And I kept talking in Armenian. I said, "Stitila yestur, intidur," and then we got into a little fight, and then I lost, and I was crying, So uh, the other kid, wanted to play with my shovel and my little bucket. So we see how right from earliest times of our own age, we have this idea, this is mine. And that is mine also. Not only this is mine, that your thing is mine also. And it continues throughout life. That's everything is mine. So this was the problem with Hiranyakashipu. He thought everything is mine, and it looked like he was the king of the whole universe, and all people and their assets and everything. But he learned his lesson, because Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu both were killed by Krishna, because they were so puffed up, and they basically scared people. Now, when you scare someone, that is actually a sin. Scaring people is a sin. It's like, sometimes parents scare their children with severe punishment. That's actually a sinful thing to do. We should never scare anybody. We should always treat people with respect. Now, Prabhupada said, show the stick, but don't use it. Show the stick, but don't use it. So we, but if you start using the stick, you not only scare the kid, but also you can injure the kid also. So you have to be very careful. Prabhupada's, let's say, his advice was, show the stick, but don't use it. They get the idea that if they keep doing bad, let's say, mischievous things, they're going to get severely punished. But that punishment should not be physical. I mean, today, the worst thing you can do to a kid is take their cell phone away. That's worse than death. What do you think? That's worse than death. Do anything else you want, but don't take my cell phone away.
They don't want food also, Maharaj.
Huh?
Food is also not required. No dinner.
No, they can get away. They can tolerate not eating, but never take away the cell phone. So that's what you have to do, is take away the cell phone. For 1 day or 2 days, just 1 minute is enough to make them go crazy. But actually, uh, it's the fault of the parents. They should never give a kid a cell phone. But you see that once they see the cell phone, they can't stop playing with it. And that's a real, tragedy, because after that, if you take the cell phone away, they start crying, they start go into a tantrum, and some kids will commit suicide. Why don't you look up the child commits suicide because parents has taken away his cell phone. Actually, you should give them a cell phone that doesn't work.
And there was an incident in my place in India
Yeah,
where there was a game
yeah,
and this child was addicted to the game and the parents took away the cell phone
yeah,
and he hung himself from
yeah.
committed suicide.
Serious. That's it.
That was not the first incident. There have been like two or three other incidents that came to light in the news.
Yeah, and cell phone is a very dangerous thing, because they get addicted to it. You know, they identify with the self instead of identifying as I'm the eternal servant of Krishna. They identify I am the eternal servant of my cell phone. And we take the cell phone.
2020.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Yeah. Yes.
Maybe this is one boy. Is it a boy? Boy kills self after parents take away his mobile.
In
In
Kerala,
India.
This is in India.
Yeah.
in Kerala, right?
Yeah, Mitra Road.
See, what you do is you just if you can, you turn the cell phone off. Then they still have the cell phone.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work.
And they need to hold it.
Yeah. So then, they'll just throw it on the ground and go, oh, you shouldn't have done that. Now you broke it. It won't work anymore. You know, yeah, that's the worst thing you could do now. Before the worst thing is, beat the kid. Now the worst thing than that, take the cell phone away. They'll go crazy. And it's the fault of the parents. They'll give their cell phone to like a 2-year-old kid, and he keeps playing with it. But by the time he's 3, he knows how to do everything. They figured it out.
So they give the cell phone to the kids to make the eat the kids, otherwise the kids don't eat.
Yeah.
So the cell phone with the cell phone, the kids get distracted and they will keep on eating whatever is.
They want to finish faster,
They want
so
finish the food faster. So for that
They get back to the cell phone. Yeah.
16-year-old Brazilian boy, Maharaj.
Yeah.
He killed his parents and sister,
Wow.
and he spent a whole weekend with the bodies itself.
He didn't
Because
care.
of the mobile.
He didn't care. As long as he had the cell phone. It's a very dangerous thing. Very, very dangerous.
He frustrated after his parents took his phone away following an argument.
Yeah. No, but you shouldn't take the phone away. You should just make sure it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And then they keep trying to make it work, and it doesn't work. Finally they get frustrated and then they throw it, right? Once they throw it, you say, oh, you shouldn't have done that. No, it won't work at all. So then it's their fault. It's not the parents' fault. Yeah. There's a lot of that, you have to realize what a cell phone is. It's the ultimate, what you would call ultimate, uh, uh, ultimate gadget that will inflate the false ego of a child. And once they have a very inflated false ego, uh, you can't. It's like very hard to deal with them because the slightest little move to take the cell phone away, they start screaming, they go into tantrums, and it's like they become like a demon. Yeah. So best you don't even give a kid a cell phone. I mean, before you'd give a kid like a basketball or a hula hip, a hula thing, or you know, or teach them how to play chess or something like that. And they were satisfied. Now they get the cell phone, they're never satisfied, and if you take it away from them, they go crazy. So
the schools also kind of make it mandatory.
The cell phone.
The schools.
No,
yeah.
as per rules, it's not mandatory.
It's not mandatory,
But
the
the children have made it mandatory for themselves.
The
It
teachers
is-
also
Yeah, teachers also.
use the telephone to, means if they want to, if
Classes.
they want to send a lecture or something like that, they send it to the telephone. What the, so the teachers also feel it convenient, so. So the excuse for the kid is that.
They have to upload some.
I need it for my homework. I need it for my homework.
Yeah, they need-
Yeah,
they have to upload some papers.
yeah. Upload
You have
some.
to finish the homework, take a scan of it, and upload it.
It's all nonsense, you know. I mean, before most of the things they did earlier was teaching kids how to memorize things. You know, now they don't memorize anything. You know, they have the cell phone. You know, so
Even for math calculations also, they don't require to do any calculation. Just open the calculator and do it. For
yeah,
us, it was not like that. Yeah, we have to learn the tables from 20 up to 20,
Up to 20. Yeah.
20 to 20 up to that much.
yeah,
No, it is nothing.
yeah. It's the older system was much better. You know, I mean, obviously, it's much better because it sustained civilization, right? And these new systems, people think, oh no, this is much better. But actually, you know, it corrupts the mind often.
And they want only Apple phones, Maharaj.
They what?
Yeah.
They want only Apple phones.
They only want what?
Apple phones.
Oh, Apple phones. Oh, they're more powerful.
So they have some communicator, it seems. Correct? Some communicator they use, it seems.
Apple Message is free.
Maybe.
iMessages.
Some group something. I mean, I gave purposely Shanmugh normal this one. So I mean, I gave him S21. That time it is the latest, as best camera in the world.
For them.
He doesn't want that. He wants only Apple phone because they have some communicator reasons. He is losing that communication.
Yeah.
I told whatever it is you want to use that.
The messages.
That's something I don't know. He
That's
was
some groups.
some groups.
Only iPhone users can.
Yeah, I think in messages to create a group, you can only add other iPhones. You can't.
Yeah,
add-
exactly.
So something like that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
They also know how the psychology of the kids work.
It's,
So
Oh,
they,
the
they-
iPhone
they-
people.
the iPhone people.
Yeah,
So they create that exclusivity,
yeah.
which works only for themselves.
My parents don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah. So it's actually when we were starting with our business idea, one investor told, kids always know how to go away from where parents are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if parents are on one network, the kids will figure out a way to move to
Figure
some
out
different
ways.
network.
and that's
Like that, you know, people in the beginning, everybody used to be on Facebook,
Yeah.
right? As the parents got onto the Facebook, the kids moved on to Instagram and
Instagram.
Pinterest.
Pinterest, like Snapchat, so like that.
So that the parents don't know what they're saying.
And the kids also crack the parental controls we put on phone. So that's only a matter of a couple of weeks to figure out how to do the.
Yeah, online adults only give how to break it. The videos they make it.
Yeah.
Well, when the kids are under surveillance, they act like angels. As soon as the teacher is not there, you know, they start throwing things and fighting and using the foul language. You know, I mean, if you go to a high school today, let's say in a neighborhood where there's like a mixed, you know, of kids, you have some Spanish kids or uh, some blacks, some whites. You'd be surprised at the terrible way they speak to each other. You know, and it gets so bad. It gets so bad that every like third word is, you know, your mother F, mother F, mother F. You know, they talk to each other like that, like it's natural. You know, and where did they learn that? It's from the rappers. You know, so it's and then you know why would they listen to rap music? I call it rat music. Why do they listen to that? Because it's supposed to be uh, very uh, edifying. Yeah, it teaches you to be a demon. Yeah, right. So and they have all these curse words. They're really terrible, and they learn how to use them at a rather an early age, especially the blacks. Uh, they like uh, even in my time, when we go to black neighborhoods, uh, I mean, some blacks were educated and they were, they had nice parents and everything. But in the low class neighborhoods, every third word is mother F, mother F, mother F. They're calling each other like that, talking like that. And after a little while, it's like a normal thing to do. But it was terrible because, uh, one time I was talking to this one black guy who was, basically a homeless guy. And I said, you got a family? He said, yeah, I got a family. And I said, and you have a wife? He said, and he referred to her in the most vulgar way. I mean, I was like shocked. It was so vulgar what he said. Basically, he said she's a urinal. But you said that in a really nasty way. So, uh, and when you use language like that, it defines who you are, and it also shows how you see things. So we have to stay away from, the rappers, because the rappers, they will use a lot of foul language. Now, do they? Let me ask a question. Why don't you look up? Are there any rappers that don't use foul language? I think there are, maybe, but most rappers use foul language. Are there any rappers that don't use foul language?
I think they just have something called like the clean version of the songs.
Uh,
So
But that's after the song is.
after the song is like released, they'll like make another version where they cover or like they omit the
uh,
part.
So wherever there's a black man, it will be.
Yeah, or like a no sound.
well, this rapper does it, or the company that's
The company
Yeah.
does.
yeah.
Because only then the kids, so some of the parental software, if it has got those words, they
Yeah.
don't come up in the kids' searches.
Uh,
So if it's clean version, then it will come up. So
yeah, the kids know figure out how to get around
yeah,
that. You see how demoniac the culture has become. It's terrible. Yeah, like I was saying, I was talking to this one black guy, and he was like, looked like a homeless guy. And I asked him, I said, "You got a wife?" He said, and then he used the filthiest, most horrible words to describe his wife. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I was just like stunned that he could think about another human being. And that other human being is his wife. It's not like somebody outside, it was his own wife. And he used the filthiest words I ever heard. Then I thought, to myself, like, this guy's really contaminated, he doesn't have anything nice to say about his own family. Yeah, it's terrible.
There's
Oh,
one rapper, Rakim, it seems, right?
yeah,
He doesn't use, explains why he didn't curse in his raps.
yeah.
And he doesn't use bad words, it seems. Rakim.
Is he a Muslim?
Yeah, it looks like the name.
There's a certain group of Christian rappers.
Okay.
So like there's something called worship music, which Christian people they make music that's like about God.
Okay.
So there are a few rappers I think who just make like songs about God.
There is some devotees like that. They used to do.
Yeah, even Mayapur is one person.
You're right.
He does the rap.
Who?
Like this Krishna Kishore and then like Mayapur is the band.
Oh, the Mayapuris. Yeah.
Yes. So one of the three.
Does
the
rap.
Three, yeah, he does the rap. He actually does pretty good, right?
Yeah, I think
Are they still around?
But yeah, they are
Yes.
still around. But he basically uses only everything about our philosophy.
Yeah.
And then puts it in a rap music.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Good for him. The normal rap, I used to call it rat music. Yeah. People say, what? I said, rat music. Yeah. And they get a little surprised, you know. But that's what it is. It's for rats. You like completely demean everything.
People like rap music because that's bad words.
Yeah, it's bad words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This seems it is like that. It's like more trendy and
Yeah, well, there was this one American, what you would call him, I guess. I guess you would call him an American. Uh, well, he was a well-known man. Let's put it like that. And he started using curse words all the time in his songs. Oh, what was his name? Lenny something. Lenny.
Lenny George.
What?
Lenny George.
I'm not sure. Uh, he was like one of the first people that was always using curse words in his songs and the way he spoke. It's Lenny something. He was a Jewish guy, and he became sort of, famous for all his, foul language. It's like, before that, people weren't using so much foul language, in songs and things like that. And he was more of a stand-up comedian. But then he got, into dark language, and all his different things that he would talk about. You see his name?
Lenny Kravitz.
This is maybe
Lenny Bruce is
Lenny Bruce,
Lenny Bruce.
I think.
Yeah, it's Lenny Bruce stand-up comedy.
Yeah. Yeah, at one point they all started, not all, but some started just using a lot of, disgusting language.
Yeah, I think we probably there's a list about 6 stand-up comedians who push the envelope.
Push the envelope. Yeah. In other words, they use foul language. Yeah. Push the envelope. Okay. So, um, the demons should have known that God cannot be driven out of any place, for he is all pervading. Demons think that demons think of their possessions as their property, but actually, everything belongs to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who can take anything at any time he likes. We should learn that. He can take anything at any time he likes. Text number 12. You are supposed to be the commander of many foot soldiers, and now you may take prompt steps to overthrow us. Give up all your foolish talk and wipe out the cares of your kith and kin by slaying us. So, kith and kin is an old fashioned way of referring to your family. Kith and kin. One may be proud, yet he does not deserve a seat in an assembly if he fails to fulfill his promised word. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. A demon may be a great soldier and commander of a large number of infantry, but in the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, He is powerless and is destined to die. The Lord therefore challenged the demon not to go away, but to fulfill his promised word to kill him. In other words, the demon promised to kill kill Krishna. This was Hiranyakashipu.
Hiranyaksha.
That's Hiranyaksha.
Yeah,
That's
the younger,
Okay.
the older brother.
Okay.
Yeah, right now this whole episode is
About Hiranyaksha.
Hiranyaksha.
Okay, yeah. That was Hiranyaksha. Okay. Well, I mean, Hiranyakashipu would always talk about, how he's going to kill Krishna because Krishna killed his brother, Hiranyaksha.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, text number 13, Canto 3, chapter 18, text 13. Yes, chapter 18, text 13. Maitreya Uvacha, Maitreya said, the demon being thus challenged by the personality of Godhead became angry and agitated, and he trembled in anger like a challenged cobra. Whoa. If you ever see a cobra, they stand up almost, and they start hissing right before they try and kill someone. Sri Maitreya said, the demon, being thus challenged by the personality of Godhead, became angry and agitated, and he trembled in anger like a challenged cobra. Okay. A cobra is very fierce before ordinary persons, but before an enchanter who can play with him, he is a plaything. Similarly, a demon may be very powerful in his own domain, but before the Lord he is insignificant. The demon Ravana was a fierce figure before the demigods, but when he was before Lord Ramachandra, he trembled, excuse me, and prayed. He trembled and prayed to his deity, Lord Shiva, but to no avail. Well, that just proves that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, not Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva, of course, is very powerful, but he also will say that, yes, that he is very powerful, but Lord Krishna is the most powerful. Of course, his followers don't understand that, or most of them, but Shiva actually explains this to his followers. And he also says, the greatest benediction I can give you is to become a devotee of Lord Krishna. Hissing, and so text 14, hissing indignantly, all his senses shaken by wrath or anger, the demon quickly sprang upon the Lord and dealt him a blow with his powerful mace. Text 15. The Lord, however, by moving slightly aside, dodged a violent mace blow aimed at his breast by the enemy, just as an accomplished yogi would elude death. That's a very nice comparison. The demon throws this mace that'll probably kill somebody, but the Lord just stepped a little bit away, and it missed him. Uh, and uh, and just as an accomplished yogi would elude death, well, how does he elude death? By meditating and giving up all sense gratification and so forth. So if you give up all sense gratification, you can prolong your life. But if someone is engaged all the time in sense gratification, especially sex, it diminishes the duration of life, and the quality of life. Let's put that also. And in the purport, it says, The example is given here that the perfect yogi can overcome a death blow, although it is offered by the laws of nature. It is useless for a demon to beat the transcendental body of the Lord with a powerful mace, where no one can surpass his prowess. Those who are advanced transcendentalists are freed from the laws of nature, and even a death blow cannot act on them. Oh, interesting point. Those who are advanced transcendentalists are freed from the laws of nature, and even a death blow cannot act on them. Superficially, it may seem that a yogi is attacked by a death blow, but by the grace of the Lord, he can overcome many such attacks for the service of the Lord. As the Lord exists by his own independent prowess, by the grace of the Lord, the devotees also exist for his service, for Krishna's service. So yeah, the best protection you can have in life is to be always engaged in service of the Lord, because he will uh, definitely take care of you. That's the best insurance policy a person can have if they're protected by the Lord. And here it says, even a death blow. Uh, those who are advanced transcendentalists are freed from the laws of nature. And even a death blow, in other words, someone, that strikes another person very severely, cannot act on them. Superficially, it may seem that a yogi is attacked by a death blow, but by the grace of the Lord, he can overcome many such attacks for the service of the Lord. As the Lord exists by his own independent prowess, by the grace of the Lord, the devotees also exist for his service. So there was this one person whose name was Houdini. You ever hear of Houdini? Right.
Magician?
Yeah. He was a Jewish guy, but he was famous magician, and he was an expert in creating illusions. That's what magicians do. They create illusions. Like they put a lady in this box, and on one side you see her feet, and the other side you see her head. And then with a big smile, they saw the box in half. and then they open it up, and there's this, just clean air, in between the two pieces of the box, But on one side, the feet are still on one side, and the head is on the other side. So that's an illusion. They have a way of making it look like she's been cut in half. And then they close it, right? And then they close the curtain. Then when they open the curtain, the lady's there jumping up and down, going Haribol, Haribol. So all the magicians are called illusionists. They know how to create illusions, uh, and then people, they go and they're entertained by the illusions of the magician. Okay, so then we're on text 15. The Lord, however, by moving slightly aside, dodged a violent mace blow aimed at his breast by the enemy, just as an accomplished yogi would elude death. The example is given here that the perfect yogi can overcome a death blow, although it is offered by the laws of nature. It is useless for a demon to beat the transcendental body of the Lord with a powerful mace, for no one can surpass his prowess. Prowess means power. Those who are advanced transcendentalists are freed from the laws of nature, and even a death blow cannot act on them. Superficially, it may be seen that the yogi is attacked by a death blow, but by the grace of the Lord, he can overcome many such attacks for the service of the Lord. As the Lord exists by his own independent prowess, By the grace of the Lord, the devotees also exist for his service. So here's the example of Haridas Thakur. He was beaten in 22 marketplaces, right? And afterwards, he and the two people that were beating him, they were like, soldiers. And after they were beating him, it looked like he wasn't dead. And they prayed to him. They said, "Please, sir, if you don't die, then our master will kill us." So I said, "Okay, you want me to die?" They said, "Yes, please, please do. Otherwise, it'll ruin our lives." He said, "Okay, I don't want you to get hurt." So then Haridas looks like he's dead. So the Qazi or whoever it was that ordered the death of Haridas, he comes to make sure he's dead. He kicks him and he said, "Okay, now throw this guy in the river." So they throw his body into the river, and then he goes down the river, and then he comes out, right? And what does he do at night? He goes and knocks on the door of the person that ordered him to be beaten to death. And when that person opens the door and sees him, he's like starts shaking and he's like frightened. Harry, that's warns him. He said, "Don't you ever do this again to anybody else." He said, "No, no, I'll never do it. Please go away. Please go away." He was all scared and everything. So we see that, but then Haridas was very, very, uh, let's say, uh, curious, because although he was being beaten so much, he didn't feel any pain. So he went to see Lord Chaitanya, and then when he came in front of the Lord turned around and showed him his back, and his back had all these uh, terrible, you know, blood-stained back, And then Haridas understood that when he was being beaten, the Lord took those beats himself to spare Haridas of the pain. And Haridas was just overwhelmed when he saw that, because he was beaten severely in these 22 different markets, but he didn't feel any pain. And the two people beating him, they saw this and they said, "Look, please, you have to die because if you don't die, uh, our master will kill us. And we have our family, we have our kids." So Harita said, "Okay, okay, okay, I'll die. Just hit me a little bit more and I'll die." And then when he died, so called, the master comes, and he kicks him just to make sure he's dead, and then he's satisfied that he's dead, and then he said, "Throw this kafir into the river," and they do that, and so he goes down the river a little bit, and then he gets out. Okay, so text number 16, 17, 16. The personality of God had now exhibited his anger and rushed to meet the demon, who bit his lip in rage, took up his mace again, and began to repeatedly brandish it about. Okay, this what's it called here? He said, uh, uh, bit his lip in rage. So this is something that people do today. They purposely bite their lip, uh, and it's okay. Look this up. Uh, men who bite their lip to attract the attention of women. Look that up. Let's see if that's a. Whenever you see someone like in a movie, also they bite their lip. It's a signal of their sexuality. But let's see if that's right. This is called lip biting. What's it say?
There is a article, there's a question on Quora. Do girls like when boy bites his own lips?
That's the bitch. It's a fact. What's it say? Well, there's biting. The boy like bites his own lip, but sometimes he bites the lip of the girl also.
Somebody commenting may like only if the lip stays.
What?
The comedic, funny answer.
What is it?
The girl may like the boy if the lip still is around.
Oh, he doesn't destroy his lip.
Doesn't bite off it.
There are a lot of crazy things that become part of the culture. It's like a perverted culture. Lip biting, as if it's like something wonderful. Now, the other thing is the boy puts his tongue into the girl's mouth, as if that's like something special. Yeah, it's special. It's special for getting contaminated. Yeah, so there was there was this one lady. She was a customer of mine, and she was having some problems with her teeth. So one day she came she was talking to me, and she said that she had a date with this man, and he kissed her and he stuck his tongue in her mouth, and she said after that I had this terrible pain in my mouth and my teeth, and I said, well, yeah, I said what he did was he put all the germs in his mouth into your mouth. And she said, oh, that's right. Oh, the next time I see this person, I'm gonna kill them. You know, that's how dangerous kissing is, right? Uh, so people think, if I stick my tongue in so and so's mouth, they'll know I really like them. No, all you do is contaminate the mouth. That's all. The mouth is as dirty as the anus. Did you know that? Yeah. Why don't you look that up? Is the mouth as dirty as the anus? Yeah, it's like a dog. When a dog has rabies, if he bites you, you can die, right? But even human beings, the mouth is a very, very foul thing. Especially, the mouth of people that, never brush their teeth or, use Listerine or whatever. They 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 develop a lot of bacteria in the mouth. What does it say?
Yeah, it says.
The mouth is as dirty as the anus or something.
Yeah. This is again in Reddit. The 5 body parts that are dirtiest: mouth, the belly button, armpits, nasal cavity, nails.
So he put mouth the first, right? Yeah. I mean, the mouth is very, very dirty. We don't understand that. But there is, oral hygiene is very important. Brushing your teeth, rinsing your mouth with water, and doing it, several times or more a day is important. Does it say anything?
Yeah, so here it lists the 7 body parts in this order. First is mouth, next is anus,
First is mouth. See?
forearm,
Did they
nails.
say the anus?
Yeah, the next is anus.
Okay, you see that mouth is more contaminated than an anus. They put that number one. Amazing. Like, for example, let's say you play an instrument like the clarinet. So someone's playing the clarinet. So it happens all the time. A lot of their saliva goes into the clarinet, right? And then someone else picks up the clarinet and starts playing it, and then now they're basically tasting the germs of the first person that played the clarinet. you know. So you have to be very careful about the uh, mucus, and also more than mucus, uh, the spit of a person, because it can be very contaminated. And then now there's a kissing, and putting your tongue in someone else's mouth and all that stuff. It's really, really contaminating. So yeah, I had this one lady who was a uh, a client. She was having trouble with her teeth, and I told her, I said, well, sometimes you get these infections in your mouth because somebody kisses you. So, that's it. Oh, I'm gonna kill him. My boyfriend keeps putting his tongue in my mouth. She went, she went crazy when I told her that, that you can, you get germs from another person, when they kiss you, especially if they put your tongue in their mouth. Anyway, these are some of the miseries of the modern worlds. Okay, so we'll go on text 18, 17. Okay. Then with his mace, the Lord struck the enemy on the right of his brow. Brow means the front part of your head. On the right of his brow, but since the demon was expert in fighting, O gentle Vidura, he protected himself by a maneuver of his own mace. Okay, that's good. In this way, the demon Haryaksha and the Lord, the personality of Godhead, struck each other with their huge maces, each enraged and seeking his own victory. Haryaksha is another name for Hiranyakashipu. I'm sorry, Hiranyaksha, the demon. Text 19. There was keen rivalry between the two combatants. Both had sustained injuries in their bodies from the blows of each other's pointed maces, and each grew more and more enraged at the smell of blood on his person. Wow. In their eagerness to win, they performed maneuvers of various kinds, and their contest looked like an encounter between two forceful bulls for the sake of a cow. Well, now we know that the bulls fight each other to be the controller of the cow. So it's not only human beings, it's bulls also that do things like that. Here, the Earth planet is called Ila. This Earth was formerly known as Ilavrita, Varsa. And when Maharaj Parikshit ruled the Earth, it was called Bharat Varsa. Actually, Bharat Varsa is the name for the entire planet. But gradually, Bharata Varsa has come to mean India. As India has recently been divided into Pakistan and Hindustan, similarly, the earth was formerly called Ilavrita Varsa, but gradually, as time passed, it was divided by national boundaries. Yeah, 5,000 years ago, there was a king of the whole uh, earth. And actually, his kingdom went to the whole universe. It was not only the earth. But little by little, uh, you know, the kingdoms got smaller and smaller, and now You have Monaco, the smallest kingdom in the whole planet, right? It's like a little town, basically, but a very expensive town. In the southern France. But it says here, uh, as India has recently been divided into Pakistan and Hindustan. Similarly, the earth was formerly called Ilavritavarsha, but gradually, as time passed, it was divided by national boundaries. Yeah, so 5,000 years ago, Yudhishthira Maharaj was the king of the whole earth. Yeah, a very powerful leader. Nowadays, all the kingdoms are getting divided more and more until what? Prabhupada said, in Kali Yuga, every house will have its own flag, its own stamps, and so forth. Every flag will be its own country. That's how divided the world will be. Everyone will be so much ignorance that they'll have their own little country. Now we are seeing this, like, for example, what's the name of that demon, so-called yogi, who now is hiding on an island off the coast of what's his name?
Nityanand.
Nityanand. It's not the real Nityanand. It's false. So, because he was having sex with his own disciples and doing all kinds of illegal things, he purchased an island off the coast of Ecuador, I think. And now he's living there, and he named it some kind of name.
Kailas.
Kailas, okay, as if it's some type of spiritual place. And now he's living there, trying to avoid being arrested for all the mischief that he's done. You see what happens to these people. Eventually, they think they can get away with anything, but then eventually they have to run away. Otherwise, they'll be put in jail. So that's what happened to this so-called. In his heyday, people used to come. His disciples used to come to our temple, and purposely talk with me. They said, "Oh, he is the present avatar of the universe, and you have to come and see him." And I just politely said, "Well, I'm a little bit busy. I can't come right now." "Oh, no, no, you should come. You're missing his darshan." I said, "Well, I don't really feel like I'm missing anything by not coming." I tried to be really polite, tell them, get the hell out of here, but eventually, they stopped coming. They came many times to the temple to invite me to see Nityananda. Just the fact that he's using the name Nityananda is like already a sacrilege. And but he didn't last very long because when some of the devotees were like uh, bewildered by him, they thought he was actually Nityananda, and the present avatar. That's the way they were saying. He's the present avatar on the earth. And some devotees went to see him, thinking he was. And he would dress up, always, and he's still doing it. Why don't you look him up? Huh?
He's still doing.
Yeah, he's still doing it. But it's on an island, I think, off the coast of Ecuador.
Start dressing up like Venkatesh or Venkatesh.
Yep. See.
Oh, if you see those videos,
Exactly like how our Babaji TV looks.
Really?
It has like the
you,
full,
you want to see that video, Maharaj?
thing.
Huh?
You want to see that video? They have a digital.
Oh, let's take a look and have a big laugh.
He gives darshan every day in different avatars.
Different hours?
Avatars.
Oh, avatars.
Like Shiva.
One day like Lord Shiva,
Uh-huh.
one day like
You know what happens to people who do that?
Rama.
They-
Like Paundruka, like he's imitating Lord.
Yeah, you know what happens to people? They die. They'll have very early death because they're imitating being God. You see how puffed up he is. He thinks he's God.
But he has got like hundreds and thousands of followers, and those are educated people.
It shows how stupid they are. They're not really educated. Yeah, they've been educated to be stupid.
Or maybe they look upon this as an opportunity to make a career for themselves.
Well, yeah. The whole point is that when you follow a person like that, the idea is, when he dies, then I'll take his position. And sometimes they assassinate them earlier so they can more quickly assume their position.
But it's very unfortunate.
Yeah.
What's it say?
Oh.
Oh, there he is.
They even have a digital setup. Green screen.
I, I think in New Jersey City got fooled that it's a real country, that island of Ecuador.
Yeah.
They and they did a sister city with that, thinking it's a real nation. Nityanand,
Yeah. They got onto the UN, I think, for a short
yeah,
period of time.
yeah.
They actually succeeded initially. They were able to invite a few people from the UN to visit their country.
You know how disgusting that is? I mean, pretending to make it this far. And you just mark my words. He's not going to live much longer. He's going to be destroyed for doing that. And a very sacrilegious thing. They pretend to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So his days are numbered. Let's put it like that.
in one means whatever he says is a joke, and it gets circulated as small bits in this social media. So in one of the things his disciple is asking him something, and he's saying that I know your thought even before you think about it.
Uh-huh. In other words, he can read the mind of
He can read
people.
the mind.
He thinks he's good.
Well, I mean, if you read my mind, he'd be shocked, think he's a low rat. It's a shame. It's a shame. I mean, and people go for that. They like to believe these things.
Then why was he caught?
Yeah.
He is so.
Oh, he got caught. He got caught having sex with his own disciple, and and then his disciple said, "Oh no, that was a false movie made by the people that
Yeah,
hate him."
they talked as if like it was all morphed.
Yeah,
There is
but that video was made by one of his disciples who wanted to show the world that he was actually a rascal. You know, that's what happens to rascals. They're eventually uh, shamed uh, by public shame for all their misbehavior.
I think they had a temple in Bellevue for Nitya. Yeah, and there's some very high-ranking Microsoft people I know that were part of it. I don't know what's the status of that temple now, but
Well, we should do a little bit of a survey to see, how many uh, how many big IT guys are going to his temple. to
Yeah.
know, I mean, the purpose of this survey is to know who are the dumbest people in the world. So, we get a list of the dumbest people in the world, the ones that walk into his temple, and think that he's like God or something.
But there's a lady in Kerala. She has, I don't know what mystic siddhi she has. She has something in her, and so I mean, the people thought that they could make money around her, so they built a huge industry
Around this lady.
around this. And
It's like
all
Guru
are-
Maharaj, it's the same thing.
and all are like very highly educated people. She has got multi-specialty hospitals in South India where, where you can go and get treated. The poor people are given free treatment.
Okay.
But
Is it that
some-
hugging? Is that the hugging lady, Amma, or is it somebody else?
Karunamai or Mata,
Amritanandamai. So
Um,
she's a fisherwoman. She doesn't know how to read or write, but
but she hugs.
she hugs and people feel
Yeah, feel,
So
they
yesterday-
feel the Shakti.
yeah.
Yesterday I was parking the car and coming, and then there are one white lady and then one Indian lady. They were walking, and then they were looking for the directions. So she said that she's a follower of Amritanandamai.
Yeah. She was in Seattle
Well, at
recently.
least she came to our
Yeah.
festival. Maybe
And
they
then
had some
she-
prasadam
and I
or
told,
something.
like, this is associated with Vedic cultures in ISKCON. Oh, ISKCON, that's great. And then she was excited.
Yeah.
So this food is going to be great because they apparently went to another veg fest in Seattle.
Oh, there was one like that?
Apparently another veg fest, and she said like nothing like this, and so they were happy.
Who organized that veg fest?
I don't know. Like we should look up because she said just recently only it was organized. It was also called Veg Fest.
Oh,
I don't know whether there's some other extension to it.
uh-huh.
So
Well, there used to be another group that did veg fest, and then they stopped. But their thing was not, our thing. You have real food and it's good, and this other group that was doing it way before us, they didn't really give out a lot of food. They just give little samplings.
Yeah, it was by vegetarians of Washington, and I think it was just booths for small businesses which sold vegetarian items.
Uh-huh.
So we just set up their booth and they would
Yeah.
something like it's also called Veg Fest, but
So yesterday there was a group who was a vegan group. They wanted people to come see their video, and if you see the video, you'll be given $2. And I think there's a rare $2 note in the US.
Yeah.
But when I touched it, it looked fake. That whole paper was fake. Yeah.
You touched it?
I touched the.
Oh my God, you
the-
touched it. Yeah, it was somebody, one of the kids that got that $2 dollar note showed it to me and said, "Is this real?" I said, "Yeah, it's real."
Is it real?
Yeah. If it was $3 note, it'd be false. But there are legal $2 notes.
But I was not sure whether this was real because it looked darker than the regular.
Well, look, the best way to find out is you go to the bank and you say, "Can you give me two $1 bills for this?" They'll look at it and they'll tell you right away if it's false. And what they do is they won't give it back to you.
Oh, they'll keep it. Yeah.
They'll keep it. Yeah. You say, "Well, give me back my $2." No. They're supposed to keep it, because otherwise you go and use it
You'll keep faking.
somewhere else and cheat someone. So, but that's good that they do that. So yeah, I saw that group. So they were paying you to hear hear some video, some look at a video, and the video is what about what?
Animal protection.
Animal protection. Oh, well, that's a good thing. Yeah.
More around animal protection, non-slaughter.
But
Yeah.
they're against ahimsa forms.
Ahimsa what?
like ahimsa milk.
They're against the
They
health
they
and
say like
It's not meant for human beings. Yeah.
they say it's also bad for the farms and bad for the cows. I'm not like sure like why so in detail, but like
Well, they're talking about professional farms that, they do mistreat the cows.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. The lifespan of a cow that's being milked for, by these big companies, it's only like 8 years. They get, severely manipulated, and then they send them to a slaughterhouse. They're about 8 years old. So it's pretty horrible the way they teach the way they treat cows. But we don't do that. In fact, we have a cow sanctuary for cows that we're not milking, and for the bulls, and we don't kill them. They can't imagine that there's something like this. I mean, the what do you call this? What do you call those people that don't drink milk? Yeah, the vegans. They can't even imagine that we have a farm where we keep the cows alive until they die naturally. It's just out of their scope of understanding.
Yeah, because in reality, how many people do?
Yeah, I mean,
Exception.
obviously you lose money, right? The cows eat a lot, you know. But somehow or other we're able to do it, you know. And like the man that milks, the man that we buy milk from, and I gave him our milking cows also. There was about 20 of them, but on the condition that when any of the cows that he doesn't want to have anymore because they're not giving milk or they're injured in some way or whatever, he has to give them to us. And then we have our cow sanctuary in uh, Arlington, and then we take care of those cows. So we're not because we wouldn't be able to say we have ahimsa milk if the guy that was milking cows kills them. Yeah. But it doesn't hurt us that much. I mean, of course, feeding cows that don't give milk looks like a losing, uh, you know, uh, economic model. But somehow we're able to do it, and we don't kill any of the cow. And I told the guy that we milks cows for us that he has to give us the cow when he doesn't want it. And he does. Periodically he gives us 2 or 3 cows. I don't need these, and the bulls also. So we keep them in Arlington. And if you do things like this, mysteriously Krishna helps because you're doing the right thing. Uh, Most people think, well, we got to kill that cow, sell it and send it to the slaughterhouse. It's like the meanest thing a person can do. I went to this one farm, and I got there when they were forcing these cows into this big van to take them to the slaughterhouse. The cows didn't want to get in. It was horrible, horrible seeing the way they treated them. But that's what is going on today. That's why there's so much violence in America because they're killing so many cows. Of course, they don't see the correlation between killing cows and violence in the United States.
Yeah,
But it's definitely there.
a big stretch of imagination for them. It's like how this,
How
these two are
connect those two
correlated.
things. Yeah. Okay, so it's 7:48. I think we passed our limit. Unless somebody has a question.
Krishna, any question or comment on mine?
Okay, so tomorrow we will do text 20, I guess. Is that right?
19.
Okay, good. Oh, glory to Jai. So basically, text 19 was there was keen rivalry between the two combatants. Both had sustained injuries on their bodies from the blows of each other's pointed maces, and each grew more and more enraged at the smell of blood on his person. In their eagerness to win, they performed maneuvers of various kinds, and their contest looked like an encounter between two forceful bulls for the sake of a cow. Okay. So now we see that there is all kinds of competition on many different levels, but it's usually for the same purpose, sense gratification. So, in Krishna consciousness, we instead of having competition, we have what's called uh, uh, communal work. Everyone's helping everybody else to achieve a goal. So when you have one goal, then you have what's called concentric circles of interest. So there's one point that's the focal point, and then around it you can make so many circles, but they don't interact. They don't touch each other, right? So that's the model of Krishna consciousness. That everybody's trying to please Krishna, so there's no interaction between the circles of interest. But when you have 2 points of interest, then there's going to be intersections. You see. So therefore, in order to have like a successful temple, it's got to be such that everybody is on the same wavelength of our desires to please Prabhupada and Krishna, right? As soon as someone comes, it says, well, my purpose is to please myself. Well, that'll create a lot of interaction because they're not on the same. Let's say they don't have the same focal point of interest. So when everyone's trying to please Krishna, whether you please Krishna or I please Krishna, you're both happy, right? But when you have some other idea, then you're not happy unless everyone does what you want. So that self-interest can destroy a temple, and it can destroy everybody working together. Just like yesterday, everyone was working together. It was a pretty successful festival, I think, right? And then after the festival, everyone worked together to clean up, and everyone's, although it's a lot of work, everyone's happy because of the cooperation. That's the main thing. When they see a large group of people cooperating and basically respecting each other and then being kind to the public, they come back with a great positive feeling that they had a good time. So that's the way of preaching. That's stronger preaching than simply using words. You're showing an example of what it means to cooperate. And it's very hard to get a whole bunch of people to cooperate. Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. You